going live. And you are looking live at Sold Out Giant Stadium, where today the 2-0 New York Giants will be taking on the 0-2 Carolina Panthers. And why the Carolina Panthers 0-2? Because they suck. And welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening? Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. Anybody who's going to spend any time at all watching the replay of this, once again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys absolutely freaking rock. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here. Once again, go over the wasn't pretty. Wasn't pretty. And one more time, I'm going to say that for the hearing impaired. It wasn't pretty. But the Giants get the 19-16 victory over the Carolina Panthers. Even Moose Johnson said it. After the Giants got their second turnover, got the ball in good field position, I think on the plus side of the field after the interception, and they were only able to get 2 field goals. Okay. So therefore, they kind of left obviously some, what do you want to say? Or shall I say after their second turnover that the Giants got. Okay. Giants got 2 turnovers, the second turnover. They got them right away, right? First quarter, boom. Okay. As I said, even Moose Johnson mentioned it. Okay. Is that I really kind of hope that, the Carolina, as I said, they had the 2 turnovers. Let's see. Okay. It wasn't an interception. It was a completed pass. And Robbie Anderson fumbled the ball. Okay. And recovered by Jackson. Adoree Jackson. Okay. At the Carolina 40. But it was on the plus side of the field. So they had the 2 turnovers. And as I said, even Moose Johnson said it after the second turnover and after the Giants wound up getting their second field goal. They were unable to, really do anything, right? Move the ball. He was kind of mentioned that he was kind of hoping that, missing out on points. He was, he said, I hope it doesn't come back to bite the Giants in the rear end because, they got 2 field goals. They scored twice. Okay, you got to give them that. But, if one of those times, especially, when Belton, recovered the fumble from the opening kickoff. The Giants had the ball, close. A touchdown there would have been nice. Maybe a touchdown and a field goal. At least they scored 2 times. But even if they didn't score one of the times and they scored a touchdown the other time, they still would have gotten more points than what they did. So Moose brought it up. He's like, hope this doesn't come back to bite them in the rear end. Because, if Carolina, when they got the ball back with a few minutes left to go, they marched down the field and got in the field goal range, okay? And if the Giants weren't able to run out the clock and all that, if the Giants were up 4 points, would have made it obviously a lot bigger because then Carolina would have had to score a touchdown instead of just trying to get a field goal just to tie the game. So he did bring that up, and I was kind of wondering that too. And then, it started kind of rearing its ugly head because, once again, in the first half there, I was like, it was the same thing as it was against Tennessee last week. I was kind of like shaking my head, I wasn't sure if I was going to look over on the Giants sideline and see Jason Garrett over there calling plays or Joe Judge with the headset on and stuff. I was like, is this 2020, 2021? Is this 2022? What year are we in? I wasn't exactly sure. Because, and every week is different. I get it. Every Sunday, every game is different. Any given Sunday, all that stuff and everything. And of course, the Giants were not really supposed to blow out Carolina. But you look at the week before, Carolina gave up 355 total yards. Okay. They didn't give up a boatload passing. They only gave up 138 yards passing. Okay. So, I mean, they did a fine job against the Browns, in week one. The Browns only 18 to 34, so barely over 50% completion. Okay. They had 3.9 yards per pass. Giants were just about the same pathetic rate this week, too. The Giants were about 4.4. Actually, both teams were pathetic. Actually, absolutely pathetic. Carolina was 4.2 yards per pass, which is pathetic. And the Giants were just as pathetic at 4.4 yards per pass. Pathetic. Okay, last week, let me see here. Carolina. Okay, they got they got some decent pressure. Okay. But I mean, the Giants made Carolina obviously look, I mean, like world beaters. I mean, their pressure was just, I mean, the Giants had a hard time blocking them. But my thing is that last week, and every running game is different. I get that and all, but I mean, the Browns ran the ball, last time 39 times with 217 yards, 5.6 yards per carry. Right, they got Hunt, and they got who do they got? Kareem Hunt, and Nick Chubb. Two very good running backs. I mean, you got one guy going out, you got the other guy coming in. I mean, you're not missing much of anything. Two very good running backs. But we got Saquon. And it was kind of like, I mean, how they got gashed last week. All right, 217 yards, and how the Giants got over 200 yards rushing last week. This week, I mean, the Giants, what did the Giants have? 70? What did they have? Rushing yards. Oh, I'm sorry. 103 rushing yards. Ran the ball 33 times. Which I like that. I'm all for that. Only got 103 yards, 3.1 yards per carry. I mean, so, but I mean, the Giants gave up a lot rushing. I mean, I know Leo the Lion got hurt. Right? He's going to have an MRI on his knee. Hopefully it's nothing horrible. Hopefully. Because the dude's he's a rock in the middle there. I mean, if you got Leo the Lion and Sexy Dexter in there, you got two fine defensive linemen in there, But, I mean, we gave up, on 23 carries, gave up 146 yards. All right, give it up to McCaffrey. I mean, did a phenomenal job. He had, what did he have? 15 carries, 102 yards. I mean, just a phenomenal job he did. He had a very good, really good day. He had 4 catches for 26 yards as well, too. Thankfully, the Giants' pass defense was decent. I mean, they didn't get gashed. What do we got? DJ Moore had the longest one, a 29-yard reception. So they did a phenomenal job. Not giving up. I mean, that might have been what they were trying to do too. I mean, you don't know. I know Wink Martindale wanted to take away the run. Well, they didn't really take away the run. They gave up 6.3 yards per carry. Christian McCaffrey had 6.8 yards per carry. He had that nice long one of 49 yards. Thankfully, he got tackled from behind, right? Or the outcome might have been a little bit different. But I mean, give it to, Carolina. They did a very good job running the ball. But, I mean, the Giants, limited. I mean, what do we got? McCaffrey led the team with 4 receptions. Robbie Anderson only had 3 receptions for 32 yards. DJ Moore had 3 receptions for 43 yards. And he had a long of 29. So that means his other 2 receptions, he got a grand total of 14 yards. So, I mean, Baker was 14 out of 29. Not even 50%. Got sacked 2 times. Had the 1 touchdown, which gave them the lead. Then we got Daniel Jones he was 22 out of 34. He got sacked 3 times, had the 1 touchdown pass. I'm really dying to see tomorrow night. I'm going to do a video out there on the grades, the team grades and the player grades that the Giants wind up getting from Pro Football Focus. So I'm going to go over that, tomorrow night. But Tell you what, they made the Carolina pass rush look like the steel curtain from 1975. I mean, they just made them look unbelievable. I mean, my God. I mean, Daniel Jones had some problems, those issues. I mean, the second time they even showed it on TV. The second time when the Giants had the ball and they had to wind up kicking the second field goal, Daniel Jones dropped back to pass, and I think Sterling Shepard was like wide open in the end zone, didn't throw him the ball. They looked like there was like two guys maybe standing open in the end zone, and I don't know, just did not see him. He's doing a lot of checking down. I mean, I don't know if it's going to wind up being where things will start clicking as the weeks go by, which is possible. Okay. Obviously, you didn't have Wan'Dale Robinson wasn't in there. I don't know how many snaps Kenny Golladay had. I mean, let me see here. I mean, Kenny Golladay didn't have a reception, so I don't even know if he even how many, Kadarius Toney had 2 receptions and he left the game. He was injured. Hard to believe, I know. Let's see. Saquon had 3 receptions. Sterling Shepard had 6. Richie James with 5. Another good game from Richie James. Thank you, Richie James. Thank you very, very much, brother. I agree, man. Back-to-back good games, solid, decent games from Richie James. David Sills had 3 receptions. Tanner Hudson even had 2. Daniel Bellinger had the one, which went for the touchdown. Okay. Giants got a lot of cleaning up to do. I mean, that offensive line. Carolina's got a lot of. I said, got some good talent on their high draft picks on their defensive side of the ball too. Okay, so they got talent there. It just, they were pretty much overmatched. In the pass blocking. I mean, pretty much like all game long. I mean, they were overmatched against Tennessee, especially in the first half of the game last week against Tennessee. So, I mean, I don't know. Evan Neal, he's hopefully better days are ahead of him. Okay. Let's see here. Who we got? Julian Love led the team. He had 8 tackles. He had a sack. And we had the X-Man. He got a sack as well, too. How many quarterback hits? We had 4 quarterback hits. Right? 4 passes defense, 5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. Okay, so as I said, where's Tay Crowder? Tay Crowder. Well, I don't even see him. He only had 2 tackles. Wow. Usually he's up there. Dane Belton with 5 tackles. Very good. First game. First NFL play. Dane Belton runs down on special teams. Carter Coughlin caused the fumble. Dane Belton recovers the fumble. Fantastic. Xavier McKinney with 5 tackles and 2 passes defensed. Let's see. We got Dexter Lawrence with 5 tackles, a quarterback hit. Jihad Ward with 4 tackles. He had 2 tackles for loss. Right. So Austin Calitro had 3 tackles, or Adoree Jackson had 3 tackles. I mean, Carolina only had so many. They didn't have a lot of plays, altogether. I mean, they had what do we get here? Total yards. Carolina only had 54 plays the whole game. I mean, they were not an offensive juggernaut, that is for sure. And the one nice thing was we got let's see, in the red zone, the Giants were 1 out of 3. Carolina, held the Carolina to 1 out of 4. All right. But the one thing which was huge, okay, was Carolina was 2 out of 12 on 3rd down conversions, which was huge. Giants were 6 out of 18, 33%. You'd like, to be elite, which, the Giants are going to have a ways to go before they get that. But I'm going to say to be elite, you like to get around 40%. Giants were 6 out of 18. Okay. You'll take 33%. You'd like to get it better, though, obviously. But, the Giants had 70 offensive plays, but they had grand total of 265 yards of offense. I mean, that's what we had last year. Under 300 yards of, we like almost like week after week after week. with seemed like where we couldn't get 300 yards of offense, right? So I mean, once again, had the same thing here. 103 yards passing and 165 yards. I'm sorry, 162 yards passing and 103 yards rushing. I mean, 265 total yards. So the Giants have Dallas Cowboys coming in Monday night. Cooper Rush, okay, who they got the victory, right? They went out early. Cincinnati came back and tied it up, and then of course Dallas won the game with I don't know if the game as time expired. I think they kicked the game-winning field goal. It just snuck inside the upright. So, so the Giants, hopefully we can get maybe Aaron Robinson back because hopefully, which would be huge because then we might actually be able to get some pressure on the quarterback if Kayvon and Azeez come back because, we got to get some pressure. Got to get some pressure on the quarterback. The guy's just standing back there. And especially if you got Cooper Rush has been around for a few years. It's not like he's, but he just doesn't have a lot of playing time in regular season NFL games. But you got to, he was not deadly accurate. He was not, unbelievably great or anything. Just the Cowboys defense kept them in the game, especially in the beginning. They got a lot of sacks on Burrow. So the Giants are going to have their work cut out for them once again in the pass protection like next week, which is going to wind up being huge. It's going to be a huge game. Cowboys are 1-1. Giants will be 2-0. It's a huge game. The Giants going to have to do a better job pass protecting, right? Going to need to give Daniel Jones some time, right? Saquon didn't have, he had 21 carries for 72 yards. He got the ball 21 times, ran it, right? I mean, just the, well, a lot of what I was hearing is that Carolina was not going to let Saquon beat them, right? I mean, they, seem to emphasize that, we're going to make sure if the Giants beat us, it ain't going to be from Saquon. So, and that's what happened. Okay. Now you can pretty much eliminate a guy, not totally eliminate, but, kind of shut him down if you really want to, emphasize on him. And that's what happened, But we got this. I got an article from Big Blue View. All right, leading up to Sunday's game against the Panthers, the Giants, most notably defensive coordinator Wink Martindale, implored the Giants fans to bring the energy. Towel-waving Giant fans did not disappoint as the Giants opened up a rare 3-game homestand by defeating the Panthers 1916 to reach 2-0 for the first time since 2016. The stadium wasn't full. Huh? Does that make any sense? Stadium, it was a beautiful day. Giants are 1-0. They have an opponent coming into town that they could possibly beat. To be 2-0, and the stadium wasn't even full. Wow. And there was an undercurrent of unhappiness in the third quarter with the offense struggling, which it was, and the Giants trailing. Yeah. The Giants went up 6-0, within the first 5 minutes of the game, and it took them two and a half quarters before they even scored again. I mean, it's like, whew, really bad. But for most parts of the game, it was energetic, fired up crowd was exhorting the Giants to give them something to believe in after 5 consecutive double-digit loss seasons and 1 playoff berth since 2011. Wow. When Julian Love sacked Baker Mayfield to force a Carolina punt with 2:06 to play and the Giants clinging to the lead, the stadium rocked like it hasn't in a long time. When that third down sack happened, it was crazy. The crowd were crazy, said veteran defensive tackle Justin Ellis, a first-year Giant. And I was just like, this is New York, So at the end of the game, when we knew it was over, I hugged Coach Wink and said, man, did you see that? And we talked about it, and it was so amazing. Head coach Brian Dable said, feeling the energy when he pulled up in the parking lot. He was feeling the energy. Fans were great, just driving over here from the facility, looking at all the tailgates and all the beverages and all the games they were playing. They were pretty rocked up, Dable said. They had their jerseys on, some old school ones, some new ones. They were great on third down. They know when to cheer, and it was certainly helpful to have them out there. Place kicker Graham Gano said the crowd was awesome and that it was a topic of conversation on the sideline. So the Giants are 2-0. They have wounded Dallas Cowboys team coming to MetLife, on Monday. Then a rebuilding Chicago Bears team coming in. So then you got finding ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose. The Giants have certainly found a number of creative and ugly ways to lose games over the past few years. These first 2 weeks, they found ways to win 50-50 games that could have gone either way, which is absolutely true. Their 2 victories have come by a combined total of 4 points. Yep. I'd say whether you score a lot, it's not important to figure out the way to win the games. You can win a variety of ways. You can also lose it, too. Again, the object of the game is to have one more point at the end of the game to give yourself a chance in the fourth quarter. Dable said, right now, when we're at it, we're a young team that's still developing, which they are. Young, there's guys on the roster that Shane and Dable inherited that will not be there by much longer, right? So they're gonna rebuild, right? So it's gonna be a couple year process, absolutely. And I don't even know if Daniel Jones is gonna be their quarterback in the future either. So, right. But I say that again, we were shuffling guys in and out. We're trying to find the best combinations, but taking care of the ball and getting it goes a long way, which they had no turnovers, which was huge, right? Because you look, they got the 2 turnovers, which gave them 6 points, right? If Carolina didn't have any turnovers and the Giants didn't have any turnovers, just the way the score was, the Carolina would have won 16-13. Okay. Let's see. There were a lot of things that happened Sunday for the Giants that weren't good. Oh, yeah. They got turnovers in Carolina territory the first 2 times the Panthers touched the ball, but could only convert them into 6 points. They averaged only 5.2 yards per passing play and hit just one play of longer than 20 yards. Yeah. Overall, they averaged a minuscule 3.8 yards per play. Not good. They struggled to run the ball, averaging just 3.1 yards per attempt. 33 carries, they said here. All right, for 103 yards. Saquon had 72 yards and 21 carries, just 3.4 yards per carry. When he had, over 9 yards a carry last week against Tennessee. The offensive line had a difficult day. You ain't kidding. In both run and pass blocking against a good Carolina front seven. Defense gave up a 3-play, 67-yard drive in the third quarter, but otherwise played exceptional. Yes, they did. The defense, once again, kept them in the game, gave the offense, and the Giants a chance to win the football game, and that's all you can ask for, right? The Giants lost another key player, defensive lineman Leonard Williams, to injury, but Wink Martindale kept attacking, and defense kept getting stops when it needed to. So they lost them, but you don't know. I mean, so we'll have to wind up waiting and see. I think there's a little bit more of that in this article here about him. Wide receiver rotation. When Kadarius Toney played just 7 snaps last week, Dable was adamant that the receivers would compete on a weekly basis for snaps. This week, Kenny Golladay was the odd man out. $18 million a year. Yeah, they're not going to play you. He got a couple of snaps. Great. When the Giants were in the red zone, Tony, Sterling Shepard, and Richie James and David Sills got the bulk of the playing time. It's a continual competition at receiver. I've said it since when? I'm not being a jerk. I've said it since the middle of camp, right? It hasn't changed. It's going to be continual competition. Dable said Kadarius had opportunities today, and we'll see what it is next week. Maybe it's wide receiver Darius Slayton. Maybe it's more KG. We'll see where we go from there. But I think that position, we're just going to keep on rolling guys and playing the guys that week that we think would give us the best chance to win. So Dable said he told Golladay during the week that Sills would get started in his spot. Wow. And that the veteran handed the way like a pro. So, I mean, look for the Giants to get out of his contract after the season. They're gonna lose some money. They're gonna obviously get some dead cap hit, but I'll expect him to get rid of his salary, get rid of Kenny Golladay after the season's over. They'll save some. I think about $7 million they'll save. So, thank goodness for Graham Gano. I think the Giants are really lucky to have Gano. You ain't shitting. Oh, my God. Gano went 4 for 4 on his field goal Sunday with a game winner of 56 yards, a 51-yarder, and then a 33 and a 36-yarder. The 56-yarder was longer than the Giants had planned to let Gano kick from, but Daboll trusted his eyes and his 13-year-old veteran. Absolutely. So Gano has now made 64 of 69 field goals as a Giant, 92.7%. You round it up, 93%. He's made 93% of his field goals, including 16 of 18 from beyond 50 yards. So basically, he makes 8 out of every 9 field goal attempts from beyond 50 yards. Whew. Holder Jamie Gillian had no doubt about the 56-yard attempt. Graham's what? Year 13 now? He's got a big leg. He does it all in practice. I love Graham. He's such a pro as far as kicking, Gillen said. So now the Giants will hold their breath. Leonard Williams is one of their best and most important players in the category of players the Giants simply cannot lose. Williams is right at the top. He plays more snaps than any Giants defensive lineman and is always among defensive line league leaders in snaps played and impacts both the run and the pass from a variety of alignments. The Giants have no one else who can do what he does. So Williams' teammates were sounding optimistic about the extent of his injury after the game, but that doesn't mean Williams won't miss time. So the Giants will anxiously await the test result of Williams' knee. So if they're optimistic, certainly does not mean that, he ain't going to miss time or he's not hurt or anything like that. However, okay, let's just hope maybe, it's a sprain or a strain or something, and it's only maybe a week, couple weeks or so, whatever, hopefully. Because for him to miss time is odd. I mean, for Kadarius Toney to miss time that's normal. For Leonard Williams to miss time, that's very odd. But looks like he got rolled up on or something, and that stuff happens. Stuff happens. All right. Well, let's see. And we got one more here. One more article here. I just wanted to kind of go over here. The Giants from the New York Post outlast the Panthers. The call was for a naked bootleg, meaning Daniel Jones was to roll out to his side knowing he would have no blockers in front of him. His first read was to try to get the ball to Saquon Barkley. There were less than 2 minutes remaining, and the first down would seal the deal for the Giants. Yeah, this was a big one because I really didn't feel you didn't want to give the ball back to Carolina, right? Jones never made the throw. Barkley was covered. As the Panthers detected, he would be the target on his third down play. Jones was never hesitated. He took off using his long legs and deceptive speed to slip past the line of scrimmage. He needed to get 6 yards to pick up the first down. He finally slid down after picking up 11 yards. That's how I'll never forget. Daniel Jones, can use his legs. One run by Barkley and 2 kneel downs by Jones, and that was that. The clock ran out, and the Giants and the new head coach, Brian Daboll, were 2-0 after a tense 19-16 victory in the home opener on Sunday. They really did a good job, and DJ made a play, Barkley said. It's a players' league. That's something the coaches keep telling us. It's a players' league, and your players have got to make plays. You guys have got to be guys in that situation. He was. So in that situation, Jones and the Giants have failed so often in the past few years that a sense of dread, accompanied these late game scenarios. The Giants survived a missed field goal at the buzzer last week to upset the Titans and just did enough on offense and leaned on a depleted defense to win their first 2 games in the season for the first time since 2016. That Jones was able to run out the clock was a step forward for a quarterback who's playing in his Giants' future, as he does not have a contract next year. I thought he made great decisions with the footballs in his hands, Daboll said. He took care of it, which is true. No interceptions, no fumbles, right? So, unlike last week. So that's 2 good weeks, I'd say, for Daniel. Well, yes. I mean, he did a very good job last week, okay, except that interception in the end zone. To try to throw a back shoulder fade to Saquon, I mean, it was just horrible. We lost at least 3 points right there. And that almost cost us the game. Right? Jones was able to get the offense in the end zone only once on his third quarter pass to rookie tight end Daniel Bellinger to tie the game at 13. If not for Gano, it would not have been enough. The 35-year-old kicker went 4 for 4 on field goals. There was plenty of time for the Panthers to run the mood of the towel-waving crowd of over 73,000. They picked up the first 2 downs, faced a 3rd and 6. The Giants needed a defensive stop to secure the game, and they got it when safety Julian Love stormed through and dropped Baker Mayfield for a 9-yard loss, forcing a Panthers punt. The Giants got the ball with 2:06 and never gave it back, which wound up being huge. The Giants limited Mayfield to 145 yards passing and did not allow running back Christian McCaffrey to wreck the game. McCaffrey did his damage on the ground with 102 yards, but 49 of them came on one play. So basically the rest of the game, he had 53 yards. Okay. Giants were more concerned with McCaffrey as a pass catcher and assigned safety Xavier McKinney to shadow him out of the backfield. McCaffrey caught 4 passes for 26 yards. So that's what, that's what they had to do. They had to do something to cover McCaffrey, okay, because you couldn't like Calitro or Crowder try to cover him out of the backfield. Not happening. McCaffrey would have had 10 catches, would have wrecked the game. Giants would have lost the game. So basically what Wink did, which what he had to do, he had to have I didn't know if it was going to be Belton or Love or obviously here was McKinney. They assigned Xavier McKinney to shadow him out of the backfield. He caught 4 passes, okay, 26 yards. All right. 6.5 yards a catch. Right. So McKinney said he's one of the best backs in the league. And it wasn't easy. I bet it wasn't. So basically what you do is like what Carolina did against the Giants. Okay. They went up and it's like, Carolina said, if you're going to beat us, it's not going to be with Saquon or, maybe won't be by him running the ball. Okay. You beat us another way, but it won't be by him running the ball. So, and that's what kind of, I guess the Giants wanted to try to do with McCaffrey. They had to do something, to take him, try to maybe eliminate him from the passing game. Because, I said, if you had a linebacker on him, forget about it. Might have been the outcome certainly might have been different. But Giants, it was not easy. It was not pretty. But, all the bad luck the Giants have had, let's be honest here, okay? Since 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, the past 5 seasons. Okay, all that crappy luck we've had, it's nice to see, a little bit of good luck. Now does this mean that, we're off to the races? Absolutely not. Does this mean we could possibly lose the next 3 or 4 games? Oh, yeah, sure. We had Carolina come in here, who's not the best team in the world, and almost beat us at home. Yeah, sure. Right? If we don't play the best ball, if we start giving up all kinds of turnovers and this, that, and the other thing, we're going to lose to a backup quarterback in Cooper Rush on next Monday night. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But that's why you play the games. But that's been 33 minutes, guys. I'm going to come back tomorrow night and with Pro Football Focus. They have grades that they give out to the players and the teams. I'm going to go over them, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of bad grades because we got the W, but it wasn't easy, and it wasn't very pretty. But the New York Giants, for the first time since 2016, which happened to be the last time they went to the playoffs, okay, New York Giants, for the first time since 2016, are 2-0. It's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? So as anybody at all, thank you who's watched me, spend any time watching this. I greatly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Or anybody watches the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys absolutely freaking rock. You guys stay safe out there and always go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.